Hi, this is Anais Salas. Welcome to my channel. If you're not familiar with how I do intuitive card readings, please check out my explainer video. You'll find the link in the description below, as well as the card decks that I'm using in any of my readings. They're all listed. Thank you for stopping by, and hopefully if any of this resonates with you, please like and comment, share and subscribe. My readings are not gender specific in terms of the sacred union counterpart physiology, so take the information in as it applies to you and leave it if it does not apply or resonate with you. Today I'm doing a deep dive for the weekend, so this is a longer video, and I will not be doing an extended. I'll probably resume the extended readings next week, but there's so much going on right now that I really felt I wanted to give a full and complete offering to those who are just coming into awareness about sacred union in its many dimensions and expressions, and to provide really in-depth support to both the divine masculine and the divine feminine who are already on the journey and who are coming into union as we speak on this next wave. So you can check out my background. I have an extensive background as an energy healer and a transformational leader and life coach and mentor. And I've traveled all over the world and been part of many beautiful collaborations around the world in terms of internships and other projects and retreats and workshops. So if you're interested in what we have coming up, there'll be a link to the website, and you're welcome to check out how I work and how the soul group that I'm in, how we work together. It's a very important part of our sacred union journey. And we will be doing another Meeting the Beloved episode, so keep your eyes open for that as well. Okay, having said all of that, and you can feel free to timestamp the video if you're not interested in any of that information. This card reading, as is my habit, I chose my decks, or the decks chose me, we shuffled, and I will present the cards in the order in which they presented themselves to me. So, where we began with new life, and this card came up in question that I asked as to where are the divine masculines and the divine feminines who are coming into union and who have gone through several months of quite intense challenges and having to clear and transform at a very deep emotional and cellular level. Where are the current union energies? And this card came out, and you can see it says new life. And so as we're moving through these post-eclipse energies, Source and Gaia and our guardians and the beings who work with us on our transformational teams, in body and energetically, are supporting this movement into a new life as more waves of source energy are flowing into the three-dimensional construct and allowing us to do and helping us and assisting us and encouraging us in our sovereignty to allow ourselves to do the transformational work that we need to do. This is a sovereign process. There is no external God who is causing us to or forcing us to raise our vibrations. I had a comment from someone who's really challenged right now, and he's feeling the press of the patriarchal God, very dysfunctional dynamic. And so he's poo-pooing all of the transformational work that is happening all around him, because he himself has not yet found the love that he is within. And so he's in quite a struggle. So we have new life here coming in and being supported by all the transformational energies. And this really is a gorgeous momentum into being our authentic sovereign selves, becoming conscious co-creators with Source and Gaia, bringing our gifts into reality and into expression in the five-dimensional domain. Those of us who are on this particular frequency bandwidth right now, we're pretty much no longer functioning in the 3D dynamic, and we're aware that that is dissolving, and it's an entropic system, which means no new energy can come into it, so it is in its death throes. And we also know that that's going to take a while. But we are smaller fractals of that process, and many of us can feel that within us we are also in the death throes as really old, dysfunctional, painful templates are being dissolved and cleared and transmuted and transformed and move out of Source's divine blueprint for co-creation. Okay, so there we go, new life. Next, I have 3 cards come out, and these are from traditional tarot. And I use the tarot cards when I use them. When they want to present themselves in my readings, they know they know what's required of them. So here we have the 10 of Cups, which is emotional fulfillment. We have the Sun card, and we have the 2 of Cups. So here we actually have a total of 12 cups of love, which for me is a correspondence to the 12 dimensions in which we are at this time functioning in the 12-dimensional frequency bands in which we express our full and authentic being that gets translated into things we recognize in 3D. So here we have this beginning, this reflection of what is the new life that's coming through. So next, I asked for the animal spirit cards, spirit animal cards, to share where we are with our resonance to Gaia's spirit expressing itself in the animal domain. And the first card out was Giraffe Spirit. See the big picture. This is the big picture here on the Earth dynamic. This is very grounded and very functional and very real, but it is a wider viewpoint for all that is going on around us. Next came Grasshopper Spirit, to take a leap of faith. And I would substitute take a leap into trust, because I think faith is a kind of complicated word, and it's one we want to be careful how we use the word faith, because for most people the word faith implies an alignment with an external God in which we are encouraged to have faith. And that's not my particular school of inner spirit or alignment. So I would just say take a leap into the mystery and into deep, deep trust in all of the life that is around you now. Next out we have Buffalo Spirit. The abundant universe will provide. And this is a very grounded, powerful energy. This is also an energy that moves in a herd. It is a powerful animal in and unto itself, but it knows how to operate with others of its kind for the sake of well-being of the entire herd. So I think this is really very valuable to remember that while we are individuals and we're doing our individual journeys of transformation, we're also part of the collective. And if we're making conscious choices as we're maturing and evolving as conscious co-creators, we are asking all the time whether what we are experiencing is in alignment with harmony and balance and truth, and moving out of patriarchal systems of dominance that are going to impact the entire collective. Then next out we have Deer Spirit, and I feel this reflects to us as our individual selves in this journey. And when we see the bigger picture and we take a leap into trust and we recognize that we're part of a greater whole, then we can honor fully our individual selves and the diversity that we bring to this entire process. This is not a cookie cutter process. Meeting the beloved and going into sacred union, because of the generosity of Source and because of the magnificent diversity of Gaia in her evolutionary forms, we are held in extraordinary diversity within our own journeys. And this card encourages us to bring a gentle touch to our own unique journeys and also to the rest of the collective, and being able to open into recognizing that someone else's journey is different from our own. It doesn't mean it's better or it's worse, it means it's different. And I have found in this past week with the eclipse that many people have been struggling to bring a gentle touch to diversity of perspective, of where we are on the wave, of where we are on the journey. So I think this is a beautiful reminder to remember, especially to bring a gentle touch to our sacred union counterparts, and carrying that energy that we have within us of unconditional love and truth, transparency, and trust. And if that's not where you are, that's not where you are, and that's your journey. And you need to acknowledge and be in self-acceptance around that. And feel whether there's an impulse for you to discover and explore more. Is there more to know about you? Is there more to know about other people? Is there more to consider and accept? Okay, so those in a sense are our guidance cards for the beginning of this very beautiful reading. Then next out, I had some cards come out from the Oracle of Mystical Moments, and this was in answer to the question, how is the Divine Masculine seeing his Divine Union counterpart, his Divine Feminine, from these perspectives of the guidance cards? And what came out was Miss Sunshine, and here you can see she's poised in beautiful balance. She is in a dimension where she is not necessarily plugged in to the three-dimensional experience, but she is awake and aware and in balance, and her intuition is informing her and helping to keep her in balance. And she's in a background of light. And I think really feeling her sense of inner balance. Next, we have Touch the Sky. And for me, this is a really beautiful card, and it reflects the feminine energy being really anchored in 5D and above frequency bandwidth, and that she's bringing a very physical part of herself, her hair, and dropping it down through the dimension of the 5D and the bridge between 5D and 3D, and offering kind of a lifeline to those who are still coming up in frequency bandwidth, expanding frequency bandwidth, and deepening frequency bandwidth. And then next we have the White Rose of Hope. And again, hope is not a word I am comfortable using, but I would call this, I would rather substitute the word the White Rose of Realization. And you can see that this rose is lighting up her heart, and she's allowing this information, because for me this card represents grounded, beautiful information coming into the Divine Feminine, and she's receiving it, fully trusting, and knowing that her discernment is well developed, and she will apply her discernment to any and all information that is coming her way. So this is how the Divine Masculine is perceiving the Divine Feminine in these post-eclipse energies. And then the cards and I and the Source and Gaia energies that I am aligned with wanted us to go deeper into what the Divine Masculine is awakening to post-eclipse information coming into his subtle bodies and energy field. So, inviting the oracles, fairy oracles, to come into this conversation. The first card out for the Divine Masculine was the Singer of Connection. And this is the quality of connection that connects all of life's intelligence. And so the Divine Masculine is really beginning to experience this as direct knowing. He's feeling this connection, not only to his divine counterpart, not only to himself, but he's feeling this connection expanding and deepening and bringing him into that sense of being connected with all of life. Then next we have the Singer of Healing. And I could feel this in my own body, because when I feel into my connection with my divine counterpart, I can feel when any one of his energy bodies is working very, very diligently with a lot of intention to heal and transmute whatever is in the way of our union, and whatever is in the way of him coming into a full sense of self-acceptance and self-love and his own wholeness and sovereignty. So here we have the Singer of Healing supporting that journey for him, and it signaled to me that we're moving into another cycle of really deep healing, and I'm going to talk more about that before the end of the reading, what that cycle is. Okay. Next out we have the Singer of Courage. And again, this reflects the Divine Masculine having the courage to hold the self-acceptance, self-loving space for himself, to feel the vast connectedness of everything that is within Source creation, and to feel the healing that is available to all of us within the vast co-creation of Source. So he is being inspired to continue on, having the courage to explore and discover himself in ways he has never felt or experienced before. Next out, we have the Oak Man, and this is as grounded and wise and loving a divine masculine energy as ever there will be. This energy carries the wisdom of Gaia, the soul of Gaia, the sense of having been through so much and having become long in the tooth, but deeply open and expanded into the energies of unconditional love for all of life and all of Gaia's living things. So here's the Oak Man. This is a mature, wise, divine masculine. And I feel that for many of the divine masculines, this is the older future self that is meeting the younger divine masculines now, as they are beginning to open more into the vast mystery and gorgeous, joyful abundance that is the Sacred Union journey. Okay, then next out, I was inquiring who or what is the energy in this union post-eclipse, and how much the divine masculine is bringing in terms of integrating his inner feminine. And here we had first out was Tobira of the Waters. Now this is a grounded reflection of working actively with Gaia's elementals, particularly the elemental of water in our healing journeys that we're on. Next out, we have Penelope Dreamweaver, which for me is a beautiful reflection of the divine masculine integrating, remembering more of his dream state and information that comes to him in dream time. Because it's a very restful way. At this point, it's especially restful because the astral dimension, the false universe of the fourth astral lower realm of Thoth creation has been dissolved. And so now we can go into dream state, and we are getting beautiful conscious information about our own unique journeys of transformation and where we are in our union, and what is coming up for us. This is a reflection of being more awake in dream time. Next we have Taten the Sylph, and Taten the Sylph is all about flexibility and sudden and surprising and unexpected shifts that open us more into deep awareness of who we are as conscious co-creators, and meeting opportunities, micro moments, micro opportunities to consciously co-create with our sacred union feminine and with the collective. And this is a very beautiful card of encouragement, and it's still a feminine energy that the divine masculine is integrating. And then the last one out was for the divine masculine was Lasguna, and she is if you want to think about princesses kissing frogs to find a prince, think about princes kissing frogs to find their princess. So here is this beautiful, playful fairy energy of one who can hop from co-creation event to co-creation event with a sense of play and joyfulness and making it real. So there she is. Now for the divine feminine, I particularly was asking how much of the divine masculine energy is the divine feminine integrating with these post-eclipse energies, and is she aware of this, and is she comfortable with this, of holding a very, very, very vibrant part of the masculine energy. Now the first card out was a card reflecting the divine feminine herself, her essence post-eclipse, and she's showing up for the fairies is the fairy godmother. And what I most really appreciate about this card, a couple things. Here we have the fairy godmother holding two multidimensional orbs of co-creation in her hands. She is in the process of the Sacred Master Key combination. And that's actually a workshop that I teach. What is the Sacred Master Key? So she has her two orbs here ready to go into that beautiful co-creation event that she's empowered to do. Then her intuitive, her third eye chakra is open, and it's being informed by the higher dimensional light coming from her 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, and 12th chakras. And she is grounded, tucked under her moving fluid, translucent veil material here, is a fairy earthling creature that is being held and protected. So she's all about gifts and grace, and here she is holding that potential as the divine feminine. And there's wisdom here, and there's playfulness as well. So lots of energy here. This is a very dynamic. Energy is moving in this card, and energy is available, and I feel that she supports her sister Tayton the Sylph in, okay, sweetie, what Sacred Master Key do we need for the next most whole moment of co-creation that's in alignment with Source Divine Blueprint? Let's do it. Then next out, we have the Singer of Transfiguration. Now, when this energy comes out, and she's holding the elements required to co-create a Sacred Master Key, this is the dynamic that is opened up with grace and with beautiful wisdom of making things happen in alignment with Source co-creation. This is the power that comes with the Sacred Master Key. This is a beautiful power of regeneration and of new life. So this reflects back to the new life card here. This is tremendous power and focus and direction and fearless transfiguration into the embodiment of being your higher self, and of grounding that energy into your everyday environment. Then next out we have Himself, and this is where I feel the Divine Masculine is present and accounted for in his integration with the Divine Feminine, and she feels him in this way, within her body and within her subtle energy bodies. And here you can see that Himself, he is the shaman, he is natural lore, he is connected to nature, and he understands his place in nature and in the harmony of all of co-creation as an individual male energy. His heart is open and lit up, his third eye is open and lit up, and he too is wearing that beautiful crown of, I know I have access to direct experience. I am bringing the part of me that is necessary to activate the sacred key of co-creation. Next up, we have even more clarity of shared purpose. This is the RAR card, which is a nuclear. This is just scalar wave energy. And the Divine Feminine is carrying this week, because in a moment I'm going to share with you the huge collective template that has begun to be cleared. And we're going to talk about that, but I want to focus on that after all the cards are out. And in alignment with what is coming up, we have He of the Fiery Sword, another very strong masculine energy operating within the Divine Feminine. She can feel it. She can feel the power and the bliss of sacred sensuality and sexuality coming into union within her as the sacred eternal orgasm of co-creation. This is it. Here it is. She's got that blending within her own subtle energy bodies along with the scalar power of the Ra card. Because when the divine feminine and masculine come into union, they become a standing scalar wave. And this scalar wave is what is continuing to break down the entropic system of the three-dimensional construct and really clearing out any parts of ourselves that are still stuck in that system of expression. Then last out we have the spirit dancer, and this is the divine feminine, fully empowered in her physical body, carrying all of who she is in experiential knowledge and understanding and wisdom. She no longer requires explanation. She understands what is happening within her. She has surrendered to it, not from a place of submission, but from a place of joyous and blissful wholeness and sovereignty. So that's what we have out in terms of where the divine feminine is coming from in these post-eclipse energies. And I thank the fairy oracles for sharing this perspective, because they are helping me to see the bigger picture and seeing how the abundant universe provides the continued momentum for this experience of coming into sacred union. Okay, so then I was curious. I'm a very curious person. I ask a lot of questions. I'm asking questions all the time, and I always get the answers, and they always are coming from within and filtering through my own body and subtle energy systems. And I take enormous pleasure in that. So next I asked the team, the guardians and beings and source, the team that I work with, is there more of a story understanding we need to know about these cards? I was curious. I wanted to know if there was more that could be reflected back through the cards. And the answer came in another just big clump of cards. This seems to be my methodology. I shuffle, 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 ask, shuffle, 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 and kaboom, several cards come out. And a lot of readers don't want to take those cards, but I find that I get very valuable information when I'm willing to do that. And this is what followed. First, we have Judgment. Then we have the Hierophant, and I don't really go by astrological signs. For me, this is just a wise inner male mentor or teacher who is sharing his wisdom. Next, we have Justice, which is balancing the scales for the divine feminine and masculine. Justice is the energy, the frequency bandwidth of the third way, which is what union with Source brings. We come out of binary code, we come out of zeros and ones, and we are aware that there are many, many more options in Source co-creation than simply this or that, or problem and solution, or light and dark, good and bad, right and wrong, up and down. You get the picture. This judgment represents the end of that system. Then what followed Judgment was the Three of Swords, and this for me represents the letting go of all in our hearts and in our many forms of heartbreak many of us have experienced, not only in love, but in other difficult challenges and tragedies in life. That reflect on our ability to love, not just about romantic love. A broken heart can come from many, many things besides romantic love. And so these cards are representing the transformation of broken hearts as a way of creating an energy, I would call it a sinkhole within the human collective. So this is going the way of the dodo. Next out, we have the Queen of Pentacles. And this is, again, this could be for some people, it represents the astrological sign of Taurus. But I feel it also represents the divine feminine in her ability and her capacity to take her wholeness and sovereignty and co-create what she needs to sustain her own well-being on every level of her life. She is now a whole person, and she's become a whole person through the divine union with Source and her divine masculine. The three of them are coming together, and this for me represents judgment for the divine feminine, that the divine feminine is rising in the collective, and it is supported fully by Source, as a dysfunctional, dominant, patriarchal energy becomes, in a sense, non-existent. So here she is on this side of her scale, just saying, yes, thank you. This abundance belongs with me, and I will take really good care of it. Okay. Then we have out, it's also representing her having, moved past this energy of the broken heart. She's coming into an understanding of how to heal her own sense of being broken and recognizing that that's an illusion. Very empowering. Then following her, we have the Emperor. And so we're seeing that while the divine masculine is still working through some powerful dynamics and transformation, he understands. He's part of this story, and he recognizes the Queen of Pentacles coming into her own, and he is not in competition with her, and he is supporting her wholeness and sovereignty as much as he knows she is supporting his wholeness and sovereignty. And so this is their story. Wow, so I've got to say, the traditional tarot are coming into alignment with how I choose to use tarot in intuitive readings. So we started out with Judgment, and then we went to Hierophant, and then we went to, let me make sure I get this in the right order, then we went to Justice, and then we went to Healing Broken Hearts, and then the divine feminine in her wholeness and abundance, and the divine masculine as the Emperor also in his sovereignty, wholeness, and abundance. So then I was asking, what grounded practical reality energies do both the divine masculine and feminine need to be coming into union post-eclipse? And we got Faf the Footer, and oh, that old gnome, or oh, that gnome. Okay, now here we have an energy that is very sparky and very electric and very, we have to be careful because sometimes this can mean our expression in everyday reality isn't grounded. So we have to remember to make sure we get our feet on the ground. But this is an energy in our embodiment that is going to be responding to Tatan the Sylph, and the quick turns that she's going to bring in, the adjustments, the micro co-creations that we're going to be coming into with a sense of, oh wow, I didn't know I could do that. And then we have that old gnome, and he's the trickster. And this is, you know what, just like don't take yourself too seriously. Be playful. Yeah, we're all on this crazy, mysterious journey. We don't really know what it is. We're not going to know what it is. We can only experience what we are experiencing and be in wonder and delight. And take the information that's coming through and transform it and transmute it in the most mature and loving way that we can, but don't take yourself too seriously. Which I thought was really lovely. And then I asked, what does that reflect? How does that reflect on the everyday reality of what the divine masculine and the divine feminine are going to be experiencing and expressing a need for post-eclipse, just the next couple days. And the first out was the Star card, which is all about healing, and it reflects the card of the Singer of Healing that the divine masculine received. And so she's out here allowing her energies to, you know, come into co-creative play with Faithful Footer and this old gnome. Then we have out the Four of Wands, which for me is, you know, really like taking a leap and having play, and this reflects the energy of this old gnome while we're building our new foundation within our sacred union, and allowing that foundation to reflect our original divine blueprint from Source. And then we had the Ace of Pentacles, which is a new beginning. It's an opportunity. And here we have the Magician. And for the Magician, for me, it's one of those cards that I don't like because it's representing the pentacle, the pentagram, which for me is a reflection of the Thoth school of manifestation for the self, law of attraction, all that stuff that just doesn't align with Source co-creation. But this is the sense of feeling how wonderful and joyous and abundant it is to be part of having this great sacred master key energy and information to us, and then knowing how to use it to come into co-creation, rather than thinking we're going to manifest something through the law of attraction. Well, I could do a whole video on that, but this isn't the time. Okay, so then we have the Ace of Pentacles, and we have this energy of having all of the natural elements of the earth, air, water, earth, and fire to join with us in our fifth energy. Now here you can see that the Magician's power base in this card reflects it very well. It is the solar plexus. It is the mind. It is not heart. And so just a cautionary tale that be careful about thinking you're going to carry the energy of magic right now. You know, this is why I don't use the traditional tarot. But anyway, there that is. I get the intention of the cards and trying to work with me, but I also get that they're helping me talk about the solar plexus as being dissolved in the new chakra system. It is no longer the power point within our subtle energy bodies and our human bodies. The heart has become that power point. Okay, so then I needed to know, or I was curious to feel, get a confirmation, a validation of how the divine masculine, with all this going on his side of the dynamic, how he feels, not how he sees, how he feels about the divine feminine. And the card that came out from the fairy oracles was Iris of the Rainbow. And once again, you can see that Iris, here is Las Guna at her feet. Here is Cupid firing his arrows. We're looking at the potential perhaps for a relationship that may include romantic love as well as deep, deep love of and respect and appreciation for the feminine. And here again, you can see that the Iris of the Rainbow has again a sphere of co-creation at her feet. So she is in alignment with that energy, and the divine masculine understands this and feels her in this way. Okay, Then we go back to the divine masculine in terms of what energies his subconscious is working with right now as we're coming out of the post-eclipse energies, and there is going to be a huge template that is beginning to be cleared. Got that information this morning. So first out for him was liberty, that he is going to come into the sense of feeling liberated and safe to share some very powerful secrets with his divine feminine, very powerful, but bringing enormous healing when he feels safe enough to share them, and that he has begun to understand that he's on a unique soul growth and spiritual journey in which he is integrating his co-creative nature of divine feminine and divine masculine, working as one in harmony, and that he knows he's on the journey, and his subconscious knows he's on the journey, and his subconscious will be helping him have clues in his waking life about all of this. And then I ask, well, where is the divine feminine? What will her subconscious energy be bringing into the coming week? And what we have here, first we have no rain today. And for me, this card in this reading today represents the sorrow and the pain of having been in a place of depression or shame or self-judgment for having been a survivor of sexual abuse, because that's where this energy is going to go this week. We're going to start to clear out that major dynamic. Next up was treasured memories, and so the divine feminine has her access to her Akashic records. And she can go into those Akashic records anytime she needs to be part of a conscious co-creation and clearing up a dysfunctional three-dimensional patriarchal domination template. And I am not bashing men, please know this. I am not a male basher. But we have been living in a system that we all can recognize as not healthy for human life. Next out, we have the Abracadabra card. For me, this is a reflection to this energy, but in the divine feminine, it is expressed so differently. It is not about domination. It is not about service to self. It is about taking on the deep and yet joyous responsibilities of becoming a conscious co-creator. Hopefully you can see the cards. I'm always moving my camera now, and I'm, where the cards need to be, sometimes I miss on that, but hopefully you can see this. Then next out for the divine feminine was transformation. And this is where I'm going to say what came out for me information-wise this morning was that this nuclear scalar power, this energy of the singer of transfiguration, this is about healing the template of incest. So for any of you who are watching this deep dive weekend video and you are consciously aware, you remember that you've been involved in incidents of incest, of distorted and destructive use of sacred sensuality in your life, regardless of your gender. This reading is to let you know that Source, Creation, and Gaia in all her forms are supporting the complete clearing out, transmutation, and dissolution of the energetic template that was embedded into Gaia's reality, not with her choice, but by sublimation of the feminine energy, and that this template is responsible for the sexual abuse, the particular sexual abuse that is incest. And so when we talk about incest, I think it's very important that we recognize that we're talking about bloodline here. And incest in the distorted, patriarchal, masculine, dominant energy that has embedded itself into the 3D reality. I refer to it as snake energy, reptilian energy. This is cold-blooded energy that has absolutely no regard for the diversity of life on Gaia, that is simply about strip mining the planet and using humanity as an energy source. So much of that is supported by the what can I say? It's a practice. Incest is a practice. It's a practice. It's a choice. It goes back many thousands of years in terms of invader races that have come here to Earth to do their strip mine project. And incest is one of the strategies. It's one of the mechanisms they use to perpetuate that cold-blooded bloodline. And it is one of the most profound expressions of distorted sexuality that is so completely out of alignment with source co-creation that there are no words to describe what it is. So if you are watching this and you are someone who has been through the agony of having to endure an incestuous incident or an incestuous early childhood with a father or a brother, or even the divine feminine can come into this, and it is so horrifying and so heartbreaking and so destructive to the soul. Please know that Source and Gaia are working. They are bringing the next wave of Source conscious co-creation will be about opening that up for a deeper conversation. It's been hinted at. We've been trying to pull that veil down now for several decades. We at least can talk about it now, and we have an awareness in the collective consciousness, and we've had books written and television shows, and now that is reflecting back to us that the time has come. The time has come for us to engage transformation, transfiguration, and the scalar power of the Ra to completely clean out that distorted expression of sexual energy from the human collective. We don't have to be responsible for the how of that. All we need to do is align our intentionality in support of that level of transformation and transfiguration, and opening to the forgiveness, the healing, opening to the new beginning that will come when that form of deeply destructive abuse and misuse of sacred sensuality and sexuality has been transformed. And so I want you all to know that you are being fully supported right now in the liberty of having yeah, some people would like to start a fire right now here at my desk, of having a new beginning in your own soul evolution, from which you are released from the bondage of that scar in your soul experience. Okay? And then it is time for you to, even if you just do it with yourself, with mirror work, or if you feel you have a sense of you can finally deal with this, your subconscious has been knocking at your dream door, memories from your Akashic record are beginning to surface. and you are feeling supported, and that this is a time to reveal any secrets you may have around experiences or incidents of incest, and of really any inappropriate use of sacred sensuality. Any child who has been coerced to appease or please an adult who has power over them. We're looking at the ends of that template and all the destruction that it creates and perpetuates in our human collective, which includes suicide, which includes a weird avenue of mind control. If you're not familiar with the work of Kathy O'Brien, please look her up on YouTube. And this is a really powerful opportunity for the collective to take this out of alternate news and bring it into the light of day, and to give the people who have been sharing these stories, not to dismiss them, because it also is very much implicated in human trafficking, and it's implicated in what's going on in the detention centers in the United States. Many of the children who have been separated from their parents will end up in sexually abusive environments. Not all, but many will. And it goes on and on and on and on and on. And the distortion of sexuality from that of an innocent child who has and is wired for the beauty and the pleasure of sacred sensuality as part of their erotic energy experience. And this is that's their co-creative energy. And when they are taken into an incest incident or lifestyle that their primary family is carrying a secret about, their ability to co-create for themselves is completely disrupted. And they are then forced into practices of law of attraction and manifesting in self-service, because they have been completely blocked off. Their sacred sensuality and sexual energy has been hijacked. It is heartbreaking. So I hope that you understand where I'm going with this today, and I would love for you all to share your comments. And you can keep it absolutely. You don't have to share personal details, but you can validate whether any of this is resonating for your own life experience, for you, perhaps for another family member. Remembering that it is not only women and females who are abused in this way. Remembering that we still do not have from the Catholic Church barely an apology, and we do not have from the Catholic Church an acknowledgement that sexual molestation of children by priests, sexual molestation of nuns, has been an ongoing part of their history, of their religion, and they are still refusing to be fully accountable for that, although some new inroads are have come to light. And I so send my thanks and appreciation to all of the people who are doing the incredibly hard work. This is actually their Sacred Union mission, is to bring all of that information to light and to demand accountability and to demand justice for the people whose lives have been so brutally dragged into heartbreak, and perhaps into drug addiction, and perhaps into sexual trafficking. So I thank all of you who are doing that work, that is your mission. You have my deepest thanks and appreciation for your courage, your bravery, your strength, your compassion, and for any and all of us who have in any way been touched by this. And I have been touched by this in my own family circle. I had my first husband's cousin who was, she and her two sisters were systematically sexually abused by their father.
who had set up a little bit of a man cave on the back of the family property, where he went into retire when he wanted to, quote, be alone, but where he also invited the girls. And his wife looked askance at this behavior and respected his, quote, intention to have a man cave. And the daughter with whom I was most deeply connected went into a psychotic break and then into schizophrenia, and she ended up with a shattered life in a group home because of her father's choice. So, to all of you, I send you blessings, I send you love, compassion, and most of all, I send you forgiveness so that you can come out of that distorted, destructive trap, the small space of consciousness that becomes that trap once that experience is part of one's soul damage and physical reality. Okay, so it's very heavy in that sense, but we can know that the collective is working on this now, and it is being dismantled. It is coming undone, and it's going to be, perhaps, continue to be a journey. It's not going to end overnight, but we're on it. So thank you very much for watching. Please comment, like, share, and subscribe. And this is the weekend deep dive for the Divine Masculine and the Divine Feminine for the weekend of July 19, 20, and 21. Much love, many blessings. This is Anais.